Welcome back to horse racing. Today, it's hump day with Hollywood Hay at Delaware Park. Terry got off to a blazing start yesterday, winning the first five with his top pick. And, I had $7 to spend at the end of the day, and I spent it well, so worked out okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Today, we're off to Delaware Park. Yeah, Terry, I know you've been to like 40,000 tracks. Is Delaware Park one of them?
No, I've never been there. I drove past it, but it wasn't racing, so we didn't stop.
Well, maybe one day. I know Sean's talking about trying to get together. I've never been to Delaware Park. I understand that the ocean in Delaware is pretty nice. So maybe we can spend a sunny summer afternoon at Delaware Park and then a nice warm evening on the beach with a bonfire with some HRT types and make some s'mores if we can't make some winners.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can make winners and s'mores, and then we can upgrade from s'mores to Terry's prime rib for sure. All right. So today, free track tonight, Delta Downs. So we're doing all the D's today, double D's, Delta Downs and Delaware Park. You can get that in the description down below. There is a link on YouTube. If you haven't done so, kindly hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, retweet if you are watching us on Twitter. Help us grow our fan base, our community. We would certainly 1,000,000% appreciate that. And to show our appreciation with that, Terry, we're going to go right to race number 1 at Delaware Park today. You're going to tell us all about the conditions.
Well, they're going to go sprint on this first race, 5.5 furlongs. It's going to be an optional claiming race, $16,000 claiming price if you decide to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed. Purse $24,500 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $8,000 or less in 2022 through 2024, and which have not won 2 races in 2024 or a claiming price of $16,000.
Well, they're going to make you work on this hump day, huh, Terry?
Yeah.
So at 5.5 furlongs, we always put together what we call the profile of a winner, the kind of horse that typically wins. You understand the track bias. Well, they've run 8 races. 3 of the 8 were won by horses that gone wire to wire. 3 of the 8 won from the rail. All the other 8, so at least 5, they ran from post 4, 5, 6, and 7. So really 8 races, not a ton of data. Though 3 out of 8 and 3 out of 8 winning from the rail could be an indication you want some speed, you want to be on the inside. And we do 10,000 simulations to figure out which horses offer perhaps some odds that could be favorable or value. We do project out the speed figure, and whichever horse wins however many times, that's how we determine our odds. We're looking for horses whose odds are higher than our simulation odds. That's the value. Par plus means 13.6% of the time, Borracho ran a speed figure in our simulations equal to or better than 88. That is the Brisnet par speed figure. And then we also want to know who's got the best chance to get to the early lead. And then based upon that pace, our projected pace, how closely this race will match that horse's best performances. Terry, sure looks like one of them is going to jump out of the gates and play Come Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, that's true. That's that really hard favorite, that one horse. And then along with that, they got the 4 and the 2, but they don't come close to his speed as far as the data goes. The 5 shows an overlay from about, 3 to 5 to 5 to 2. And the 1 shows the only par plus. And then all of them but the 3 have C zones, and the 1, 5, and 6 have the best ones.
Yeah, we're typically looking for a C zone of at least 50%. We also do what they call trip handicapping. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, the inside 4, they want to be on the lead. How about that? Which one of those is going to be on the lead will be the big question. Looks like if I press the right order, the 1, Borracho and Dunphy, those 2 are about a length or so quicker than everybody else. The 1 on the rail to the inside. So that one should have the edge over the 4 as they get to the turn. As they come through the turn and on their way home in this short sprint, where is Mike? A little bit quicker than Strugar, and then Desert Ruler right in there as well. Our top total pace horse in this race is Strugar. That went 6 points better than Borracho. 6 points is usually good enough to get the job done, or at least finish second. Terry, you have that one at the top of your list too.
I do. I have the 5 Stugar. I think he's got a really good chance of catching that number 1 horse, especially if the 1 is pushed by the 4 and the 2. And the reason I like Stugar is he's 2 for 2 at Delaware Park, so he likes the track. The distance will not cause a problem as he's finished in the money in 3 starts out of 3 all 3 starts, winning one of the races and has a high percentage winning trainer. Baracho, number 1, he won his last race. Best start speed is fastest among today's starters. It's a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. In this combination, in the last 14 days, won 4 out of 6 starts. Desert Ruler, the 6 is my third choice, finished 4th in his last race as a favorite. But the trainer, the high percentage winning trainer, wins 42% of the time when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again. The 4 Dunphy is a long shot. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And as we normally do, we're going to bet $2 to win on our first choice, a $1 exacta with our first 2 choices, 50-cent trifecta box with our first 3 choices, and a 10-cent superfecta box with our first 4 choices. And I should have said the first 2 choices on the exacta is a box. And that's what I'm doing and then I'm going to, in this race, I'm going to do an additional $10 to win on that 5-horse Struger.
Yes, the one right now that does look like it's offering up the most value. Our simulated odds put that one at about 3 to 5. It's 9 to 2. So you're getting a lot of extra according to our simulations in there. I'm going to go with the 1-horse Terry. I did not know that it would be bet from 2 to 1 to 2 to 5. That wasn't my expectation, but that one will be on the pace as we see here. Jamie Ness does great. If that horse just repeats its last race, it should win this one. That race was 16 points better on the speed gun than anything else in this race. So it might regress in the second start after layoff. That's very possible, but would need to regress a lot for the others to catch up. Number 6, Desert Ruler is my second choice. The last time Desert Ruler ran at this level, he won, and he's coming in from Tampa. So I think Tampa to Delaware is a small track drop. Your top pick here is a Strugar. That is also the top total pace horse, as we mentioned, by 6 total points. And you did also point out, Terry, that this one has a couple of races at this track by the shore and won both of them. And then Dunphy. That kind of like paints an image, doesn't it? Dunphy. I mean, it's one of those words that like just conjures up like an image, right?
Yeah.
But this one will challenge for the lead, as we saw, and it's going to run at its lowest level in the last 10 races. So I suspect that should be able to hold its speed a little bit longer. I'm going to do a pick 5. I'm going to single the 1. I'm going to go 1, 5, 6, 8, then 3, 5, 6. Then I'm going to single the 8 horse. And then I'm going to go 1, 3, 6. I think that works out to $18. We have about $32 to spend, somewhere around there. So I have $14 on a single horse coming up, and what's going to match up to be a Rich versus Terry best bet challenge on the day, I think.
All right, except for that's not my best bet, but that's fine.
Oh, it's not your best bet?
No.
All right, well, it's not a best bet then. So the challenge.
I had a hard time making the decision between the 2, and I decided on the other one.
All right, well, it's a second best bet, so
it is.
I feel a little more comfortable now that it's not Terry's best bet. I was thinking, do I really want to do this with Terry's best bet, or do I want to stay away?
I've had 2 in a row now. 2 of my best bets in a row have won. So.
Well, let's see if you can make it 3. It doesn't bother me if you make it 3, because if your best bet wins and my best bet wins, and I don't usually do best bets.
Right.
So if that happens, then it'll be a fan. We can both be winners. It's the win-win situation, as they talk about. But I don't think we have enough time to get prepped for race number 2. So tomorrow, Terry and I will be back. We're going to do Churchill Downs. Keep an eye out on our social sites, Terry, to find out what we're going to do tomorrow at Churchill Downs, when we'll get started. Terry, where can folks do that?
Well, they can do that by subscribing to YouTube and hitting that little bell. Tells them what time our program is going to start, what kind of program it may be. And then at the bottom, if they want to go ahead and copy the link and send it to their friends and relatives, everybody they know, so they can come and check us out, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then go to our social sites such as X and Facebook, and TikTok and Instagram at Horse Race, the number 2 day, and give us likes and thumbs ups. That helps with the algorithms, which really helps us to get more tools so we can give you folks better handicapping advice.
Yes. So far, Lori Zimmerman giving us a thumbs up on Facebook. Thank you, Lori. And Janatilza Garcia with a thumbs up. So we appreciate that. You too, Rich. Yes, thank you. That was a little bit delayed there. Don Johnson says, I hope Terry's hot today. And like 20 minutes later, oh, yeah, Rich too. Thanks, Don. We appreciate that.
Well, I think it was based it on yesterday. You know, I had 6 out of 11 races that I had a first choice win. And they weren't all hard favorites. There were a lot of second choices and so on.
Mm. Yeah, I think between you and me, I had 4 or 5 of them too win. So
yeah, you did, yeah.
And closed out that last race with the top pick in there, that one horse too, which was, it got bet down to the favorite, but it wasn't the morning line favorite. Speaking of which, we might make a little bit of changes to our pick 4s. I was thinking about, what do you guys think about this? Doing a 1, 2, 3, 4 pick 4. In other words, one leg has to have one horse in it. One leg has to have 2 horses in it. One leg has to have 3 horses in it. And one leg has to have 4 horses in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, pick 4. I think that would be fun, Terry.
Yeah, it would be.
And then the other pick 4 being a no morning line favorite pick 4. So you can pick anything but a morning line favorite in your selections. And then, of course, we can have one where it's anything goes up to a bigger dollar amount. So,
oh, that sounds great to me.
Yes, I know. That's what you like.
Yeah.
All right. So they're almost all loaded up for the opener on Hump Day at Delaware Park. That one horse is a big favorite. Concerns that in my pick 5, it might prove to be a Tom. Big favorite, second place type for Jamie Ness. And they're off and running, but he did get off to a good break, that one horse. Did jump to the lead like we suspected it would be. Right to its outside is the 2 horse. Where is Mike? And then after they run through the trees, the 4 horse is in third, but that one's going to be 3 wide, going to make it pretty difficult to go through that turn 3 wide. Terry's 5 horse with the closing ability is in fourth, about 2 lengths off of the lead as they go through the turn, trying to save a little bit of ground. The 1 horse right now does have the lead with Dumphy, the 2 that we thought would be up on the pace. The 2 horse has backed out of that competition. This race looks like it's going to be between the 1 and the 4 at this moment, Terry. I wouldn't be surprised if the 4 gets up next to him, although that wide trip's going to make it really difficult for him to get that done. But he's definitely putting the heat on that guy up there, and they're kind of bumping off one of each other. So the 2 speed horses going at it. Looks like right now the 4 horse has gotten the edge. They're both beating the hell out of their horses trying to get it to come on. The 6 horse is making up a lot of ground as they try to find the finish line. It's going to go 1. Boy, it's going to be a nose between the 4 and the 6. I got to imagine there'll be some objection somewhere along the line because those 2 horses were banging off of each other. So 1, 4, 6. I don't know where that 5 came in. And the 1 ended up going off at 1 to 5. So for all of you doing the pick 5 and you singled the 1, you got your fingers crossed. And for all of you that took every horse except the 1, you're really hoping that the 6 or the 4 gets the nod there.
Yeah, that 5 just kind of died at their coming, stopped coming into the turn. So
yeah, that's always a, yeah, it's going to go 1, 4, 6, and then the 2, 1, 4, 6, 2 in the opener, if there's not an objection. So we saw the 2 speed horses go out and duel and hang on. So maybe speed will be the way at Delaware Park today. Speaking of 2s, that's where we're going to go next, Terry.
All right. Well, let's see here. We've got a 5 furlongs again, and it's a maiden claiming. It's for $12,500 per $16,000 for maidens, 3-year-olds and upward.
And for maidens, 3 years old and up at 5 furlongs, the 5 furlong profile of a winner. 24% of the time, the winner does go wire to wire. You do want to be middle forward. We just saw that in the opener there. A little bit of a rail bonus for Storm Cat Eyes. 2 and 3 play under par. 4 through 7 are fair. So far, nobody has scored wearing the 8 or higher, Terry, in race number 2. So again, speed will play a role in the second race. Who's going to be the speed?
Well, that 8 shows the most speed, but it also got some company with the 5 and the 1. And then the 8 also has a very small overlay, which is just under 5-2 to what's that, 3-1. The 6 has a small, very small par plus. Nobody else has any at all. All but the 8 shows some kind of C zone.
So Sagamoose at 10,000 did, I think, what does that work out to be? About 500, a half of a percent? Or would that be, well, 10% would be 1,000. So no, that would be 50 out of it. So a few times, but also has a pretty strong par plus in there too. So Sagamoose maybe a horse to keep a lookout for there. In the second race, look at this race shape here, Terry. Most everybody wants to be middle back with the 5 and the 6 so far. Leprechaun and Sagamoose not within 5 lengths of the leader. The 3 horses that have shown interest, they spread out evenly across the track. Early on, Stormcat Eyes on the rail, along with Leprechaun, the not close horse. Those 2 should be out on the pace early on, although everybody's within tight range there. Even Javanka with perhaps a chance if he steps on the gas a little bit more. At the end of the race, Bar Down Express, about a 1-length advantage, still on that E. So if the 8 horse gets the lead, could be very difficult to contend with the most late speed. Also has the top total pace score by 5 points, Terry. Usually enough to get the job done. Sagamoose, big drop off there. So maybe that 6 horse isn't one to watch after all. What do you think?
Well, I like the 8 Bar Down Express. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a high percentage winning trainer. In the last 14 days, that trainer's been in the money 6 out of 7 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. And then I like number 1, Stormcat Eyes, my second choice, drops in class today. The rail post win in a 30% clip, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and the trainer wins 33% of the races when taking the blinkers off. Sagamoose, the 6 is my third choice, drops in class today and switches to high percentage winning jockey. Mario's on point is my long shot, the 2. He is a first-time starter whose dam has 2
I think
winners.
Mario on point is out of the race.
Oh, did they scratch that one too?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I mean, that's X'd off on your side there. So
Yeah, you're right. It's scratched. So anyway, okay, I won't give you a long shot then because I don't have anywhere else to go.
Right.
But I like a Don Johnson pick 4. I'm going to start with the 1 and the 8, go with the 6 as a single, and then go 1, 2, 5, 7, 6, and 8, and then 1, 3, 6, 8, 13. I think that's a $30 cost.
All right. I think the 8 horse probably is your likely winner here too. If this horse is ready, it is the best horse in the race, but been off for a while. So that's the big question. It's going to get a 10-pound weight break today. That's the equivalent of roughly 2 lengths. So if it's ready, that 2-length advantage could be a lot. If it's not ready, it might be the difference between first and maybe second. I'm going to go with a little bit of a long shot. Sagamoose. I think some of those numbers may have been a little bit skewed. So horse has only run twice in its career. So the debut last July, so almost a year ago, was really probably good enough indication that the horse could beat these because typical second race improvement would have put it well within par striking distance to get at this level. Plus being a year older, so you get that second race improvement plus being a year older. The second start really must have gotten injured because he's been on the sidelines since last August. So if this one's ready to run too, look out. Number 5, Leprechaun. That is my next one. This is your only pure maiden special weight dropper in the field. And that's the biggest drop in all of horse racing. And finally, Stormcat Eyes, the 1 horse, benefits from the rail, coming in from Oaklawn as a track and class dropper. But it's going to have to up its game to get to par to this level. I'm going to basically do all except for the 4 horse in here, Terry, Javanka. So everybody take out the pen, circle that 4, and it's a lock to win this race today because I'm going to go pick 4, 1, 5, 6, 8, the 3, 5, 6, then the 2, 8, then the 1, 3, 6, 7, spending 48 of my $50 allotment, and surprisingly, 0 objection on that 1 horse in the first race. I'm kind of surprised about that, weren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, me too. I thought for sure with those 2 popping off of each other coming down the stretch. Hello, Laloy. How do you do today, my friend? If you have any questions for Terry and I, suggestions, if you have any picks yourself at all the different tracks running today, certainly let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Helps us also make the show a bit more active, interactive, and more fun, which we like too. Race number 3, Terry, what's that one all about?
All right, race number 3 is another 5 furlong race. Well, about 5 furlongs, that's what they're saying. And this race is on the turf. It's a $16,000 claiming race. Purse $20,000, and it's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races.
So who froze, folks? Me or Terry? Because one of us froze there. It's nice to know, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, I like the 5 furlong profile of a winner. Tells us in race number 3, there's only been 2 races on the turf at this distance, one of which went wire to wire. The other one closed. All of them left from post 4, 5, 6, and 7. So really 2 races, not a whole lot to look from, but you've gotten a big variance between a closer and a sprinter, Terry. So who knows which side of that is going to end up being the right side. If it's a sprinter, well, they all have some chance to get to the lead.
That's right. It's anyone's guess because the 137 shows the most speed in here, and then the 5 has an overlay from about 4 to 5 to 5 to 2. The 6 and the 5 show the only par plus numbers, and then all of them have some kind of C zones, and most of them are pretty darn good.
Yeah, a bunch of them over 50% over there. So in the third race trip handicapping, look, you got a bunch of versatility with the 3, the 6, the 7, and the 8, because the 3 and 7 don't need to be on the lead, but they could be on the lead. The 6 and the 8 really can be anywhere on the track. They can pressure, they can close, and sometimes they can even take charge. 1 and 2, perhaps lead dependent. The 5 horse wants to close, the lone closer in the field. So that is the lone Sesame Street horse, unlike any other. When the race gets cooking, you got 3 of them in here, the 3, the 6, and the 7 that want to be on the front. But again, only 6 points separating from the top to the bottom. So spin your wheels, bump the gate. The starter's assistant's a little slow to let go of the rein. You could be first, you could be worst at the quarter-mile marker. At the end of the race, we do know that Kitty Quick looks like the closer will be the one trying to make up the most ground at the end, and quite frankly, won't be all that far off the pace with this group. That might be more than enough to secure the W as the lone C-type. Also factors in as the top total pace horse. 7 points clear of everybody else. Looks like Divine Promise, the 8 horse, is the only one that doesn't really fit in from a total pace perspective, Terry. This race has the wide open look to it. How do you think it's going to go?
Well, I think the 6 is going to win this race. She has an early foot, so she can improve at the shorter distance, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a good workout on the 22nd of May, a 4 furlong workout. Sassy Babe, the 1, is my second choice. She likes Parks racing. She's been in the money 100% of the time when she's raced here, and won 50% of those. The distance won't cause any problems. She's been in the money 44% of the time, won 13% of it. Lady Lancer, the 3, is my third choice. Her return to turf offers hope for improvement, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then number 8, Divine Promise. Her return also offers hope of improvement, and she also has a high percentage winning jockey. No additional bets for me here.
I'm going to start with the 6 horse too, Terry, and then after that we go our different ways. Rubai, I'm guessing that's how they pronounce that one, or Rubakes. I have no idea. Last time out, this horse showed a lot of speed. That was the first start after a layoff, and then it faded. Well, the last time the horse came off the bench, it did the same thing, showed speed and faded. And then the second start, the horse went wire to wire. So I'm looking for a repeat of that cycle. Lady Lancer, the 3 horse, gets my second choice at a nice price right here. The best work for this guy comes when she's near the front, and our simulations say that's absolutely where she will be today, as all these horses should be close to the front. 5 horse, Kitty Quick. That is our top total pace horse by more than a length over the rest of the field. This is another one that should be sitting right off the pace and has that most late speed. So if that's sitting in second or third coming out of the turn, provided it's not 3 or 4 wide, should be able to run by them all at the end. And then finally, Sassy Babe, second in her only Delaware Park trip. That was on grass. And this was another one of those horses with a good chance to perhaps do better in the second start after a layoff. No additional bets for me other than our win, exacta, trifecta, and superfecta standards. Race 4, almost the middle of the card, Terry, in an 8-race day at Delaware Park. Going to go long for the first time.
Yeah, we're stretching out to 1 mile and 70 yards. It's a claiming race, $5,000 claiming price. Per purse is $15,500. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 2 races since November 29th, 2023, or which have not won 3 races in 2023 or 2024, or which have never won 4 races.
A lot of ways to get into this one, Terry. So trying to get horses another W in the 4th race at Delaware Park today. And in 1 mile 70 yards, $170, you're looking for the handful of races. 2 out of 5 went wire to wire, and then the other 3 were closers. So you got barbell, be on the front or be near the back. All of the winners, again, coming from post 4, 5, 6, and 7. Again, Terry, speed may or may not be a factor in the 4th race. If it is, one of them's going to stand out.
That's right. That 3 horse has the most speed, followed up by the 9, but the 3 shows a lot of speed according to our data. So if we can get out there and get no pressure, it may go all the way. 5 shows an overlay. Oh, the 5 does not show an overlay. I don't know where. I'm sorry. The 2 shows the overlay from about 4 to 5 to 7 to 2. And then the 2 and the 6 are the only 2 par plus that have any decent numbers. The 3 does have a little bit. All but the 3 show C zones. So there we go.
Yeah, we got a quartet of them above 50%. The 1, 2, 5, 6. Race shape for the 4th race. Ooh, look at this. That 9 horse looking for justice. If it can get to the lead, Terry, Lone E versus everybody else that wants to be middle or mostly close. We've seen that Lone E horse get to the front. Might not look like it on paper, like a contender, but almost always are contenders. The question is, does the 9 get the lead? And it looks like Zapper, and Looking for Justice, those 2 could duke it out early on with the 3, perhaps. That Left Arrow horse, a closer, whose normal early speed puts it right into contention early on. Those 2 burn each other. That means the closers will bring it on at the end. It looks like you have a pretty good mix right here between the 2, the 6, the 8, and the 1. Although the 2-horse Ghost Stalker, more than a length quicker than everybody else, but could find himself a length and a half off the lead, maybe 2 early on. So might need to scoot a little closer to the front today. Ghost Stalker is your top total pace horse, along with Leadoff. About 3/4 of a length difference between that and Deep Faith, Polar Wind. Of the front runners, looks like Zipper Zapper is the one you might want to circle instead of the 9, Terry. Which one did you circle and put on top?
Okay, well, I like the number 8 horse, Deep Faith. He won his last race and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Then I like the 7, Steely Man, or Money, I'm sorry. He is 1 for 1 at Delaware Park, so perfect, and he switches to high percentage winning jockey. Ghost Stalker, this 2 is my 3rd choice, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey and loves the distance. Number 6, Leadoff, is the long shot. He finished 3rd in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets for me other than the normal bets that we do.
So the 8-horse Deep Faith, this one's run 5 times at Delaware Park, collected the win in 3 of them, finished 3rd in the other 2. So 100% in the money. And the last time out, the horse won, I think, like 5, 6 lengths at Tampa Bay. Talk a lot about Barry Meadows and his alpha angles. One of those alpha angles that wins at 15% or more is a horse that won its prior start by, I believe it's more than a length and a half, if I remember correctly. But let's just put it at 2 just to be safe. A horse won by a lot more than that. Ghost Stalker, the 2-horse, my 2nd choice. This one got claimed, going to drop in class. The last race was better than it looks, as the fractions were exactly the same, maybe a touch quicker early than its previous start, or compared to its previous start, where the horse finished a close 2nd against very similar company that it's facing today. Leadoff, the 6 horse, had a wide trip last time around the track, kind of a tough trip. Should be a horse that improves in round 2 off the sidelines. And, well, I'm not counting on 2 wide, tough trips in a row. And then finally, Polar Wind was a really hard call for me over Terry's 7 horse. But the 1 horse Polar Wind has 1 trip across the Delaware Park. It won that race. And today, going to carry a few less pounds than some of the others in here today. Race 5 to the back half of the card we go, Terry. Another one on the grass.
That's right. And the second turf race, and it's approximately 7.5 furlongs turf. Claiming 16,000, purse 19,500 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
Apparently, they don't have an exact measuring stick in Delaware, Terry.
I don't guess so, because it's almost approximate.
Yes. Well, let's just start here today. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, at the just start here, 7 in a furlong type race. There's only been a couple of them, and it's kind of hard to tell because if it was 6.5, 6 3/4, 7 3, who knows? But somewhere around there, one of those horses went wire to wire, and one of them closed. So here we have that pick one type. I guess it goes along with the pick the starting spot, right? And again, all the winners come from 4 through 7. So we'll pick 1, 2, Terry, that has a good shot to get to the lead. And, well, one of them looks like ain't catching that one early on.
That's right. That one shows plenty of speed, but look at all the scratches in this race. Anyway, if it gets out of there, the only other one that might give it a little push, according to the data, is the 13, Crazy Odds. And then I like, as an overlay, the 3 has a very small overlay from 7 to 1 to 8 to 1. The 7 has a really nice overlay from 3 to 1 to 30 to 1. And then
what the hell's going on there?
I don't know. And then the 6, 7, 3, and 8 have these par plus numbers. All but the 7 shows C zones, and a lot of them are very, very good. So,
yeah, I mean, this 7 is curious. Bold Licorice, 3 to 1, highest par plus number. I know the horse has been off for a little bit, but I mean, what's going on at the track that the morning line maker made it 30 to 1? I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out today. Let's go ahead and look at the race shape. Pretty balanced. A couple that want to be on the front. Most want to be middle back. So they could give a little bit of an advantage to the 6 or 13 if either one of them can find their way to the front. Looks at the 1 horse, Holla at Ya Boy. The 6 horse, Mintanan and Prince Fred. They're considerably quicker than the rest of the field. That 13 speed horse maybe have its work cut out for it, though. If it does break sharply, does look like it has the best late speed over Praline's Cat and Aloha Man. Just looking at the way the data is shaping up here, I'm going to guess this is another race that looks pretty open from a total pace perspective. And it is indeed. Everybody but Prince Fred within about 10, 12 points. Move up the ladder here a little bit from Aloha Man up to Mintanan. You only got a 6-point difference between being first or being fifth. So this is another very competitive spot, Terry. Why did you put the 6 on the top of it?
Well, I like Mintanan because he comes in from Tampa Bay Downs after winning the last race to try Delaware Park, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. The 1 Holler at Your Boy is my second choice, has a win at Delaware Park on the turf, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. 8 Word Per Word is my third choice, drops in class today. He has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 21% of the races when shipping a horse in to compete, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. 13 Crazy Odds, my long shot, has won 1 race out of 2 starts at Delaware, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play my second and last pick 4, Don Johnson, Miami Vice. I'm going to use, because it's a wide open race, I'm going to use the 1, 3, 6, 8, and 13 with the 1, 6, with the 5, 7, and finish up with the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a $50 ticket.
I'm going to start with Holla at Ya Boy. That's the 1 horse. Holla at Your Boy. It's going to make the first start after the layoff. That's some really nice workouts prepping for today. Just looking at the baseline of performances that this horse has put on the track to date, I think it has the most upside for a surprise. So I'm banking on some of that class or expected or hoped class to come out today. Miniton. The reason this one made it really tough for me to put it anywhere near the top, although it ranks pretty highly, it's coming off of its maiden win, I think, with the 14th or 15th race So if it took 14 to win one, can it take two to win two in a row? That's always a question mark for me. Praline's Cat, the 3-horse, gets the third call. Much better early pace in its last race. Really highly consistent performer. Just about every race. Doesn't have a high ceiling. Doesn't have a low floor. Really tight pattern of performances. But almost every single one of them would be good enough to win at that level. And then Bold Licorice, what the hell, Terry? They put the bait in front of me, right? With the simulations. I'm looking at it like a dumb bass, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'll take a bite. They got me. Been off since October. Lowest level of its career by far. Unquestionably has the most back class in the race. And I really don't know what the heck I'm missing at 30-1, but I guess I'm going to find out when race number 5 is done, and it's 30 lengths behind everybody else.
That's right.
But I'm going to do a pick 4, 1, 3, 6, 7 with the 1, 6, 7. I'm going to single the 11. So I kind of foreshadow who my favorite horse of the day is. And then I'm going to close it out in a maiden 62,500 race with an all button Terry. Hopefully catching a big one on that back end there. And that cost $48, believe it or not.
Okay.
All right. So we have 2 minutes to go, but they're kind of on the Charlestown schedule there in Delaware. They mill around a bit. So let's race through race 6.
All right, so race 6 is 6 furlongs, optional claiming race, $8,000 claiming price, purse $17,000 for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for $5,000 or less, and their last 3 starts are claiming price of $8,000.
All right, real quick, 6 furlongs, profile of the winner. You're talking about horses that stock. Only 15% of the time they go wire to wire. Strong rail advantage for Delaware Dolly. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7, a little bit under par. So far, 8 and out. Hasn't been able to collect the winner's check, Terry. So in race number 6, be fast. And there's plenty of them on the inside that meet that criteria.
Yeah, the 2 and 3 show the most speed. They could go head and head all the way. The 1 shows an overlay from just over even money to 5 to 2. The 2 shows an overlay of almost 8 to 1 to 10 to 1. The 3 shows an overlay of 4 to 1 to 6 to 1. None of them have any par plus numbers, and all of them show some kind of C zones.
Yes, a quartet of them again with a number above 50%. In the 6th race, most of the horses middle back, so could favor the 2 or 6 if they get to the lead. Do either one of them have that chance? The 6, yes, about 3/4 of a length faster than the 5 and the 2. The 5, one of those left arrow horses, a closer that is going to be closer to the front than usual today. Looking at our late speed, Delaware Dolly, Sid probably 3rd or 4th. Great spot for a PC to be. About a half a length quicker than everybody else. And total pace, wow, another one in race, Terry, where your top 4 are really tightly packed between the 1, the 6, the 3, and the 2. Which one do you have?
I like the 6 above par. She ran second in her last race at Tampa Bay Downs, returns to Delaware Park, where she has never finished out of the money, and she's won one of the starts. Delaware Dolly, the 1's my second choice, is 1 for 1 at Delaware Park, has a highest speed figure rating, and the rail post is winning a 25% clip and has won 6 out of 12 starts at today's distance. Number 2, Fancy Princess, 3rd choice. She ran second in her first start at Delaware Park versus similar in her last race, and she has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then 3 is my long shot, Tweet Away Robin. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with the Delaware Dolly. And no additional bets for me in this race.
Delaware Dolly is taking a very small drop in class from just and going to get the rail boost today. And last time out at 7 furlongs, its fractions were similar to the prior start when it ran 6.5. Above par, my golf game. Yes, indeed. In just 2 words, claim and rise after faster fractions last out. Another one of those horses, just looking at it, has the most upside in the race. So if it could tap into some of that, Terry's top pick gets the W. Bramble Bush, the 7 horse. Off since December. This is going to be the first time this horse has ever run at Delaware Park. Looking at the workout lines below the past performances, it looks like she likes this track, especially that April 19th workout, 4 furlongs and 48 and 2. And for whatever reason, when you look at the workouts at Delaware relative to other tracks, they appear to be on the slow side. So 48 and 2, while normal at a lot of other places, actually kind of quick for Delaware. And then finally, Fancy Princess. I'm looking for more in the second start after a layoff. And the horse gets a 1-length advantage today with a 5-pound weight break. Yeah, they are milling around before race number 2. So while they try to find their way to the starter's gate, you can find your way to Guaranteed Tip Sheet tonight for our free track. That is Delta Downs. There is a link in the description down below, so make sure you click on that. You're going to want to go over there because next week, Terry, is Belmont Stakes week, right?
That's correct. Yep, over at Saratoga Downs.
Mm-hmm. Terry and I were there. Really nice place. If you've never been there, make sure you check it out.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So
yeah, absolutely. Me as well. So let's see how they find. Man, these go. I don't know what it is about Delaware Park. I mean, all these races by the shore, right? Delaware, slow to get to the gates. Gulfstream, slow to get to the gates. I don't know. Are they like that at Monmouth too?
no, I think Monmouth's pretty fast. I mean, it's pretty right on there. So
and then Charlestown, just
they're slow at Charlestown. I think they're the slowest.
Yeah, they're absolutely the worst or the best at that, depending on how you look at it, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
All right, so race number 2, they are starting to get their way into the gates, trying to tap the 4 on the behind to go in, being a little bit reluctant to load Jack Nava. Again, it's the only one I don't have in my pick 4, folks. So even though it's slow to get into the gate, it's going to be fast to get to the winner's circle. In goes the 5, Leprechaun. So now we're waiting for the 6 horse, Sagamoose, and then the 8 horse, Bar Down Express, to get into the gates. The 1 horse is your favorite at the moment at even money. Maybe they're going to really like that rail horse today at 7-5 on Bar Down Express, though. So let's just see how that 8 horse performs relative to the 1. I mean, from a pick 4 perspective, I will take the 6 horse personally at 10-1. It's the only one that's above 10-1 odds. So it looks like they're off and running at the moment. And the 6 horse, the one I hope wins, is on the lead, Mr. Terry, with the 8 horse right to his outside. The 1 horse, the big favorite, down on the rail. And to its outside, about 2 lengths off the pace, is the one I don't want to see anywhere near the front of the track. That's the 4 horse, who's moving pretty good. The 6 and the 8 are up on the front right there right now. Yeah, that 4 horse is going to give me a whole lot of trouble, I think, Terry. But the 8 horse right now, starting to draw away. It looks like it's going to be another runaway winner, although I don't like what that horse did, going like 4 lengths wide up the track through the turn. Almost never a sign of a fit horse, but perhaps catching. The jockey's having a hell of a time keeping this horse in line because he's almost fallen off the horse. The horse wants to run into the rail. Horse is really making it difficult on the jockey. The 4 horse, the only one I didn't have, getting his way into the, it's pretty funny how this works, Terry, doesn't it? And that you go ahead and you take 4 out of the 5 and your top pick wins at 4-5.
Yep. And of course you can see that my 2 had been scratched. I threw the 4 in there. So that's my long shot.
Coming in second in there. All right. So we move on to the late daily double beginning in race El Numero 7, the 7th race where Terry and I have some disagreement, it looks like. Yep. What's going on here?
Well, it's about a mile on the turf. It's an optional claiming race, $17,500 claiming price, a purse of $41,000. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won a race other than a maiden claimant started or restricted, or which have never won 2 races, or a claiming price of $17,500.
So this one, despite the distance, you would think, well, long race, 2 turns on the turf. 3 of them so far. 2 of the 3 won wire to wire, and the other horse sat like in a shotgun position. So you want to absolutely be forward. It looks like it's a pretty fair place to be in terms of post position because the rail didn't get a win, but post 2 and 3 have a win, post 4 through 7 have a win, post 8 and out have a win. Looks like the only consistent measure so far through the first 3 is, boy, you better be fast, Terry. And who is fast?
Well, there's so many of them in here. The 7, 8, 11, and 1 all show some speed, and they're all very similar. So we just don't know who's going to get there. It's anybody's guess, I imagine. 3 has an overlay from 8-1 to 10-1, and then 11 has an overlay from about 3-1 to 7-2. The 11 has the best par plus number, but there are several others that show some kind of par plus. And then the Eight, all but the eight have C zones. So there you go.
And you got a nice combination. Strong Palota sisters. So ball sisters, along with it's like instead of the ball brothers who play NBA, I guess these are the Palota sisters. So that one's got a good number. Chance to be up front. Light green go on the 11, where all of the numbers are green. The 11 wants to be up on the lead. The 6 and 7, they can stalk or they can take the lead. 3-horse right in there. Tiki Bar, another one of those par plus. Lone PC, look out for those. They can be extremely dangerous. At the beginning, Glossamar, the 1-horse on the rail, a left arrow horse, a closer with the ability to be forward. Right, should be tailed pretty closely by Palota Sisters, Wings of a Song. And a lot of horses in here with pretty similar early speed, but they should stretch out from nose to tail from beginning to end. Downtown Katie with the most late speed, a little bit better than Palota Sisters, but probably going to be 4 lengths off of everybody else. Looks like 2 horses here, Terry, are above the rest in Palota Sisters and Tiki Bar. You have one on top that you think is going to win and worthy of a win bet.
That's right. The 7, my pick of the day at Parks Racing, is Golden Heart. She has a perfect record at Delaware Park and at today's distance, winning both of her starts. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then the 5, Downtown Katie, my second choice, finished 3rd versus Tough in her last race, drops in class today, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like your top pick, the 11, as my 3rd choice, finished 3rd versus Tougher in her last race, drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer. And this trainer wins 23% of the races when using first-time blinkers on a horse. My long shot is 6, Wings of a Song. She's got a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to bet $6 to win and $8 to place on number 7. Then I'm going to play a $1 daily double. I'm going to use the 5 and the 7 with the 2, 3, 5, and 6, which finish up all the money I have to bet.
So this is your bet of the day then?
It is. And it's your bet of the day. So we're going to have bets of the day off.
A bet of the day off.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to take the 11 horse. This one is Palota Sisters. A significant drop in class. Last time out, after more than a year in the barn, was running at Keeneland in an allowance $110,000 race. There's no question Keeneland to Delaware is a track drop. A $111,000 Keeneland allowance race today to a $17,000 optional claimer is a huge drop in class. You see here the purse is $41,000. The horse isn't in for a price, so you can't buy that one if you wanted to, the 11 horse, but it is in for a check. I talk occasionally about trainer intent. They're here to win this race, to get the 60% of the $41,000 to pay for the bills, since this horse has been off for so long. Number 7, Golden Heart, Terry's top choice, my second pick. Unbeaten, as you mentioned, in a couple of races on the Delaware Park grass. Also going to drop in class in the classic 3rd start after a layoff. The 14 horse, Etheric, maybe one that everybody's going to overlook. Real strong par plus in here. It is a class dropper. The last time this horse ran at Delaware Park on the grass, it finished 2nd. And the only other time that the horse ran a mile, it won. So maybe a sleeper in there. And number 5, Downtown Katie, been off since the middle of November. The last time this horse won, it just came off the bench. It blew everybody away. And this will be the lowest level that the horse has run in its last 10 starts. Finally, Terry, the last race of the day today. You and I will be back tomorrow sometime to do Churchill Downs. Before we do that, what are we doing in the final at Delaware Park on a hump day with Hollywood Hay?
Well, they're going to go in exactly 1 mile, 70 yards. I don't know how they can make that.
Well, they got it on dirt this time. So apparently the dirt measuring stick works, but the grass one is
Yeah, you're probably right. But it's a purse of, it's a maiden claiming $62.50. Claiming price purse $11,000 for maidens 3-year-olds and upward.
Actually, what I think it has to do with, Terry, is when they move the gate, how far they move the gate from the rail is probably why it's approximately. But I don't know. Just a guess on my part. So at 1 mile and 70 yards, yes, I'm using the same measuring stick. I'm guessing too. 1 mile and 70 yards, a handful of races. 2 of them went wire to wire. Closers won the other 3. All of the winners come from the middle of the track, 4, 5, 6, and 7. A lot of horses in here with just limited ability, limited careers so far, Terry. But from what we know so far, who's going to get the lead?
Well, it's anybody's guess again. The 4, 5, 3, and 7 have all the speed, although the 4 and the 5 shows the most speed. And then the 3 has an overlay from 5 to 1 to 10 to 1. The 5 has an overlay from about 4 to 5 to 5 to 2. And then 5 has the best par plus number, although the 3 and 2 also show some pretty good ones. And then all but the 2, 6, and 3 show some good C zones.
Yeah, indeed. 2 of them over 50%. Everybody else maybe going to struggle with the way this race shape plays out. But again, some horses really not getting a whole lot of work in so far. 2 and 3, well, they want to be on the lead. 4, 5, and 6, they want to close. Really nothing in the middle. So far, the 1, the 7, and 8, they have not shown any interest in being within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line. A lot of these horses that win these shorter races are close to the front. So Infinite Series, the closer, left arrow horse, does have the most early speed, about 3/4 of a length quicker than the 2 or the 3. The 2 horse wants to be up on the lead, maybe fake speed. So Pop Sox is of the 2 front runners, the one most likely to meet that challenge. At the end of the race, Army Cadet, the closer, about 3/4 of a length more late speed than the rest of the group. As you put together the big picture, looks like Army Cadet and Pop Sox, those 2 are your best 2. 6 points clear of everybody else on a top total pace. So maybe in a wide open race, if you want to save some money, stick to the 5 and 3 and hope for the best. That looks like what you did, Terry.
I did. I like 5 Army Cadet. He ran second versus Tougher in his last race. Drops in class today. Trainer wins 21% of the races when dropping a horse down 2+ classes. Pop Sox, the 3 is my second choice. Finished third versus Similar in his last race, and it has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days been in the money 5 out of 10 starts with 3 wins, 2 seconds. Naga Parbat. The 2 is my third choice, ran second versus Similar in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. And then Timo, the 6, drops in class today, switches high percentage winning jockey, and has a high percentage winning trainer. No additional bets for me as I'm out of money.
I'm going to go with Army Cadet 2. Class dropper in here, Terry. Just needs to run to the last race, although the horse has been on the sidelines for a little bit. And the last time the horse went to the sidelines and came back to run, I think finished 24 lengths off the lead. Don't want to see that if that's your single at the end of the pick 4. Nanga Parbat, the 2 horse. All of the race internals were better from beginning to the middle to the end of its last race. And that last race was the first time the horse ran at Delaware Park. So maybe a horse for the course. Number 3, Pop Sox, making the second start after a layoff and going to catch a weight break at Delaware Park so far 7 times around the track, 4 thirds. At the distance, 3 times, 2 thirds. So I think the best place to put the 3 horses in third place. Seems like that's where it feels most at home. And then finally, Timo, the 6 horse, was a really hard call for me over the 4 horse Infinite Series, the one that left arrow horse with a chance to get to the front. But jockey Ederic Robles is winning at a pretty hefty 30% compared to jockey Carol Cedeno's 8%. So you got to find the edge somewhere, and that's the edge I decided to take, my friend. That wraps up all of our picks today for Delaware Park. Here are our full picks so far. The 1 and the 8 coming home, your winners in the first 2 races. 6 races to go, Terry. Hopefully, plenty of winners in our top 2 picks there as well. Again, we'll do Churchill Downs tomorrow in the evening sometime. We'll get cracking. And then a free track one more time today. Tonight, Delta Downs. I think we got some nice long prices in there with a good shot to win at the Louisiana track, which is always good for some big prices. Ain't a whole lot else to do on hump day anyway at night. Terry, any final thoughts from you before you and I decide to part ways today?
Yeah, I'd love you to go ahead and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't done so yet, and hit that little bell so you can find out, for instance, what kind of programs we have coming up. And then go ahead and copy that link, share it with all your friends, relatives, everybody you know, because we'd like them to come and take a look at us and see if what they see here is something they like. And I know they will. And then go to our social sites such as X, TikTok, Facebook, and then Instagram at Horse Race, the number 2 day. Give us a thumbs up or like, especially if you do. And I know you're going to, so that it helps us out with the algorithms.
Something.
Something.
Just not aneurysms, which is sometimes.
Yeah, my tongue got tied there.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then everybody just have a great rest of the week and be careful.
Yes, indeed. So thanks for joining us as always on this hump day with Hollywood. Hey, we greatly appreciate it. Of course, tomorrow we'll be back for Churchill. Friday, Epsom for Terry, Tom and I on Foreign Friday, provided we don't do our Ghostbusters and get our signals mixed up and then explode the Marshmallow Man. Instead, we want to make horse racing picks on Foreign Friday. As always, folks, no matter what you're doing today, we certainly hope if you're chasing your life dream, you're just chasing a nap, no matter what it is you're trying to do today. We certainly hope that it has God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing in your life ends up in
the winner's circle.
See you tomorrow.